I did. I met him once. It was at the North Texas Rock Rally. But Billy Joe was so good. And rewind several years, I had done some sessions with, I love Billy Joe. And especially that live at Smith's Old Bar, Unshaven, with Eddie playing. I wasn't at that show, but I was at a show about 6 months later at a place called the Buckboard Country Showcase. And I saw it was Keith Christopher on bass, Craig Wright on drums, Eddie on guitar, and Billy Joe. That band. Craig Wright played with Eric Church the last I saw him. And Keith is in Skinnerd. Anyway, fantastic. Eddie might be the best guitar player I ever saw up close.
How loud was it?
Loud. He had his cabinet turned to the wall. He was playing a Soldano 100-watt SL100 100 head, which is what Warren Haynes plays. And I'm sure it was dimed, and it was just filling the room up with guitar. It was perfect the way it was pointed at the wall. It was blistering. Anyway, fast forward, Eddie died, and so Billy Joe was doing shows, mainly acoustic shows at the time. I think there was nobody that could come in and play like Eddie and reproduce that thing. So he kind of, and I'm just guessing here, he just kind of was like, I'm just going to do something different, So that day it was him, another acoustic guitar player for when Billy Joe wasn't playing his, bass player, drummer, harmonica. And a thunderstorm / tornado / whatever happens in Texas happened, and they ran us all into RVs. Get over there in these little things, I guess. And so we did, and he wound up in ours. And I was like, shit, this is great. I never met him. He was so nice. And I ran out to the van and got my CD and came in and was like, would you sign this? I don't mean to be that guy. He goes, absolutely. So he signs it. And did you ever go to Smith's Old Bar? The load-in, the stairs. He goes, hell of a load-in right there, isn't it? I said, known the world over, Smith's Old Bar. But the stairs are harrowing. There's got to be at least 100 of them, and they're really short, and they go straight up. And it's not better in the back. And in fact, when I first moved to Atlanta, the back was a fire escape ladder. So there was they did put stairs back there, but it's like, anyway, it was just this rickety, great club. I've seen so many good shows there, played so many shows there. Probably holds 200 people, maybe. We had a keyboard player named Joey Huffman. It was the first guy we ever had in the band that had a chopped down B3, but still a B3. And he would conveniently have to go somewhere and do some errand every time it was time to load that damn thing in. I left my AC on. I know I did. Oh, the coffee maker's on. Oh, man. But Billy Joe, that was the first thing he said. And then he was like, I think that's a Masonic building. And I didn't know that. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I had on a Blackfoot t-shirt. Blackfoot Marauder. That somebody had given me, and I thought it was so cool because it was a real vintage Blackfoot t-shirt. And he goes, I want that t-shirt. And I thought, Billy Joe Shaver's a Blackfoot fan? How crazy is that? Well, he wasn't. He's Blackfoot Indian. I read his book later and was like, that's why he wanted my shirt. But he was a sweet man. And that was all. We just spent that hour in there.
Did you give him your shirt?
I did not. No.
So give me that belt buckle.
Yeah. Paul Jackson in our band, he has a denim shirt that belonged to Billy Joe because Scott, whose place we're in now, Billy Joe left that shirt here at the shed, and Scott kept it for years, and he gave it to Paul. So that's pretty cool. Well, I did some sessions with Ken Coomer years ago, and Ken Coomer and Jeff Johnson, speaking of the Scorchers. And I was kind of a wreck. And I had yet to become a professional. But I was enjoying playing some guitar, and we played on these sessions, and Ken said, he said, I'm going to be playing some drums with Billy Joe. I'm going to suggest you come and play guitar. And I was terrified because Eddie was gone, and I thought, I can't do that gig. And luckily he never called because I was like, I think it might be the one gig that I tap out of. I can't play in Shaver, especially not the wreck I was. But Well, we were doing this. The sessions that we were doing, we were playing this revved up kind of stuff, And I think at that time there wasn't a whole lot of that going on in Nashville. So maybe, anybody that had a little grit to their guitar tone and played a little fast, was a candidate. But it was like, well, there's way more to it than that with Eddie.